Next, may I now invite Ms. Marta POZO, Director of MVRDV Asia, to share, through sustainable projects, how architecture and urbanism contributes to holistic urban design solutions for users of all age groups. Her presentation topic is All in City, Designing Cities to Grow Up and to Grow Old in. Ms. POZO, please.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I would like to thank you for being here, for the invitation to discuss with you this relevant aspect of the city of Hong Kong. Hong Kong is a world-class city, and the greatest cities in the world, what they offer more qualities and more fundamental values, that they go beyond what is the economical performance. So it's also about the well-being, it's also about the happiness, and this is something that you have achieved. Already, Hong Kong is a city that has the most living population, that is the healthiest population, also something that is extraordinary, at least for the people that are guests of the city, maybe you are used to it, is that you are the most working people. It's not the most, maybe still the most walkable city, but yes, you use the compactness, the benefits of the compactness. But you want to take a step further, and you are getting ready, and it's also part of this discussion today. It's not only about people to live longer, but people to be happier. And it's very inspiring, actually, what is the title of the conference. It's about action. So it's a call for action. And a call for action is also a call for optimism. And when we talk about optimism, it's good to think also in the impact that the small things they can have in our society. So yes, we can have to fix our traffic lights, because we have been said many times that it seems that they are done for Olympic runners. Or yes, we can also have more branches in the city. We can also find what are the places that there can be more trees and to generate this kind of microclimate. And yes, sometimes to make it more recognizable, where is the way for the pedestrian. So it's these small things that can make a difference. But then what is small? And what are those things? So through different projects of MVRDV, I'm going to tackle these questions. A little bit about us. MVRDV is a Dutch company. MVRDV operates in the field of urbanism, of architecture, but there is something that characterizes us, something that really fascinates us, is about the research. It's about curiosity and responsibility. Curiosity in the way that we don't take the status quo as an answer. We like to look at the things from different perspectives and then see what happened and what can bring forward, and responsibility. Because of course it's not only to work for the client, but our buildings, they are going to have an impact in the people that they use, in the people that pass by every day. This is one of our first build projects in Amsterdam, and this is an elderly house. Many people will think that it doesn't look like an elderly building. And why it has this form? Actually, is thanks or because of the urban regulations. First, we had a slab. The client asked us to include there 100 apartments. This is a building that is going to be for seniors. But then if we want that all these apartments, they have daylight and sunlight, then we have to cut part of this this building envelope. So we have 9 units less. We also wanted to have an access that is larger, so that it can be flexible. There can be activities there. So then there's another 4 units that goes out. So at the end we have 13 units less, and then we propose to the client, what if we can hang those units in on the slab. So it's looking at the regulation with creativity, trying to solve it. That is how this is the outcome of the building. It's unexpected. It's a building that in a way tries to give an alternative to what it is normally the monotonous buildings of the elderly. This is one of the contributions of these projects. And if we go to in the other part of the building, we see all the different balconies. The colors they were chosen by the elderly people that live there. By doing so, that is something that is very simple, but it brings a sense of belonging. And yes, this is the color that I like, and this is my balcony. And the balcony, they have also different shapes. They are big enough so that it's possible to have there some plants, to have a table, and when there are sun, then the life goes in the balcony. It's like an extension of the living room. And they are not one on the top of each other. They are shifted. So in this way, it becomes like a chatting zone. So it's also these small things that generate the interaction of the people, and that makes people to meet even when they are in the balcony. And from in the inside, we try to make a difference in the size of the units, but there's not much that can be done. But because of the colors and the different types of balconies, when the sun shines, they give different characters to the different apartments. So again, bringing a differentiation also into the housing units. So yes, this is the senior house. Here is only the apartments because they are integrated well in the Netherlands. What we try is that the government is not a service provider. The government is more a facilitator. So here, this is a senior house. They promote that they can be independent as much as possible in a block that is just 5 minutes from this one. Then is the nursery house. So yes, from us, we thought that it was a way to say that the elderly people, they are different. There are many kinds of elderly people, so it's good to give alternatives to them, not always the same kind of housing. But then when we talk with one of the residents, he is the president of the associations of the house. Then he said that the best of the place is the community. It's the links and the easy that is to talk with people and to find each other. So is this making reference to the people? So it's not surprising, but actually it brings to the other point. It's like how we design for coexistence. We see in our society that we cannot rely on the government to be always helping for us. Gradually there are less social funding, so we should also be able to recreate what are the social links, so that to create a community that can support each other, so to make sustainable what is this aging all together. There is already a lot of initiatives. There is a lot of this social design innovation. Probably you all know about this one. Is in the same house where the seniors live with the students, or this other that in the same place there is a kindergarten, and there is also a senior house. And when we think about we are architects, urban planners, so when we have to create places that where people will interact, in that moment, then what is a building is not architecture anymore. Then the building becomes urban planning. And if we think in a building as urban planning, then we also have to think how to integrate their collective spaces, what is the public realm that goes inside of the building, and how are the sequences of all these different collective spaces, so that it really generates all these meeting moments and meeting places. And this is something that is especially important when we talk about the elderly. We see the elderly that they are out on the street, but we don't see the ones that are in the apartments. So if we are able to generate buildings that they are also going to offer these moments that they can have the contact with the outside world, even though being inside, then can be beneficial also for them. This is one example of one of these multi-generational buildings in the city of Amsterdam. This is a private developer who developed. And from the beginning, the idea was that it targeted different types of people. So we wanted that there was not only different types of ages, but also quite different lifestyles. So there is from families, singles, there is elderly, there is also different incomes, social housing. There is 10%. This is given by the regulation. And then from this 10% of social housing, 5% is for elderly people. So how are we going to mix all these people inside of one building? First we thought, can we put in the slabs in towers so that we have each one has their own core? But then at the end, this is still segregation. So then we thought, okay, what happens if we add them in layers so that they share each of these lifestyles, they have their own corridor. But again, we thought that this could be segregation. What we really want is to mix, maximize the mix of all these different types of people. So what we did is to make a building that is a collection of neighborhoods. So there is 140 apartments, and they are organized in 23 different neighborhoods. When you see it from outside, then you can recognize the neighborhoods. It's very clear. They have different facades, different windows, different materials, depending on the finishing, depending also on the budget of that neighborhood. And this is the part that is for the elderly. So what is important is, as I said, is how all this narrative of all the different public spaces, how is going to be, and where is the location in the building, and also what is the scale. So there is the big public spaces, but there is also more intimate ones, and also where are. Here, for example, this is also programming. There are different rooms. There are 2 rooms in the buildings, and they were empty. And it's the community who decide what is the program that is going to be there, and it's also maintained by the community. This is the entrance of the elderly part, and when you keep on, then you have this terrace. This is a space that is very easy to make, but the fact that it's in towards the sun, towards the south, that is sunny, that it has good benches, that is well maintained with some plants, then it might be that really it is used by the people there. So it's this creating this meeting place and meeting opportunities is what generates this coexistence between the different generations. Another point that I would like to stress is, like, until this moment, we have talked about residential. There has been in the residential domain, there has been a lot of research. Maybe what is in, for example, in retail, there has been less of research in what is aging. But when we think in the public realm is yes, is the street, yes, is the roads, but also the libraries, the civic buildings, also internet. This is a wider understanding of what is the public realm. And many times when we talk with the elderly people, they feel insecure. They feel like invisible in this type of buildings, and they just stay at home. I'm going to present now a project that actually is about connecting people, and it's about another type of program. In the cities, we had for many decades this kind of environments. This is markets, it's a small scale, it's intimate, and the elderly people, they feel more comfortable to go there. They have been gradually, they have been replaced for shopping malls. Elderly people, they get lost there, they don't find their way, they are afraid that maybe they fell down. So something similar was happening or what was why we were commissioned for this building, and this is in Rotterdam. This is a food market. And the food market, there was a new regulation, so the food market has to be indoors. There was this project that has to host the market and also to have residential. So when you read the brief, the most intuitive is to have a plinth, and there it will be the market and then the residential on the side. But by doing so, then you don't capture what is the culture of the market. So then if we flip it, then we have a big hall and it's surrounding for the residential. For aesthetic reasons, we have to make an arch because there is elevators inside of these arch for the housing. Then we need to strengthen the legs. And here is how the market hall appears. It's a simple to understand building. This you know what it's about. It's a place that is safe, is easy to navigate. Of course, it's like a covered street, and when you enter inside, it has the small scale of the market. When this grandeur of the roof. It's a place that has become the living room of the city. At the end, it's not only for the neighborhood, but it has been the city who has embraced it. Yeah, and it's welcoming and it's attractive. It's safe. The elderly, they go there in the morning. You can take a coffee in the afternoon. In the evenings, young people, they go there to have a beer, go shopping. So it's a place where everybody finds something to do. So this welcoming and attractiveness of the buildings for all, not only for the youngest, not only for the middle age. And yes, when you look on the top, you have here the ceiling with the windows, and these are the windows from the apartments that are behind. There's these 11 levels of apartments on the top, and there's always this constant connection with the market. So it's a building. It happened also that actually most of the apartments, they are being rented or they are being sold for people that they are in their 50s or their 60s. So people that they are aging, and it also has to do with this connection that they feel. It's a building that has been done to connect people, and through that, what we have investigated is how to connect the different programs. So yes, it's a project that we hope that is fostering fostering the community, but creating a space that is simple, a space that is easy to understand, and that the people can feel safe there. It has been mentioned before that yes, the public realm influence what is our daily life, and this is especially relevant for the elderly people. And it happened is that in the last decades, the cars should be very happy because all the cities, they have been made for the cars, and we are there who live, but the good thing is that actually there's a collective effort, and we can see that in the city they are appreciating more the benefits of not only build for the cars, but of course to take the people into account. In this global effort that's already going on, Seoul is also part of that, and during the last years there have been several projects that has attempted to transform a city that was dominated by cars to a city that is dominated by the public space. Different initiatives has been done, and the project that I'm going to explain now is also part of this initiative. This is an overpass near the station, and we were asked to transform this car overpass into a public space. When you walk around, the place is very uncomfortable. It's not, there is not sidewalks at all. You don't find your way, how to cross. There is a lot of high buildings. You really feel lost. But if we walk around in the neighborhood, actually the neighborhood has a very lively and very dynamic life on the street. But the public space of the neighborhood is not clear. It's not structured. It's very easy also to get lost. We also did a survey to the elderly people. The elderly people was one of the target groups to go to be there, and yes, what they ask is to be green. What they wanted to be green. That of course that there were disabled facilities. That there were merge of people, elderly and also young people. They also asked for aesthetic spots and more practical things. That they wouldn't fall down. That it were with good light. With all these ingredients, then is how we start our design. And when we and there's also we also study what is the lifestyle of the people of the surrounding, and the elderly. We realize that most of them they stay in the house most part of the time. So what we propose is to bring back the place to the people, but also to nature. And we organize Seoul, Korea is very, very rich in natural species. So what we do is a library of species, and we organize them and we place them in alphabetical order across the bridge. And we add some activators. So when you go from point A to point B, yes, you can learn about the beauty of the plants of the country, but there's also things going on. So it becomes a destination. And there's destination for all types, for the different target groups. Have the tea, coffee, a flower shop, it's a street library, there are toilets, so it's a variety of them. So what we try, yes, this is a city that was dominated by cars, and what we try is to give it back to the people, providing a place where it's dominant by it has the human scale, and also where people can feel safe. And we create this kind of botanical promenade. The things that we take into account in the design was, of course, accessibility, to bring the human scale, and also to find what were the proper programming for the area. When we talk about the elderly, the details are important. The slope, so that they feel comfortable to go, but also because this is 1 kilometer. So it has to have every 300 meters. We have escalators, so we have elevators, so they feel that they can go out when it's needed. It's also connected through the buildings next to it, and there is a lot of seats. Every 10 meters, they can, or maximum, so there is a maximum every 10 meters, there's always branches, and also when they sit there in the branches, they can also read what is the plant that is there. This is some of the activators, the cafe where they can sit. This is the toilets that they are also all along the bridge. We try to create a microclimate with the trees that are there. Yes, they ask to have these viewer points, so we give them four of them. And there's also this kind of exciting moments where the elderly, they feel a little bit more skeptic to go there, but when you see the young people, the kids, they love it to see through the glass roof. There is a playground, and the people also can find their moment to sit and to relax, moments that are more in theme. You can read also about the plants that are there. So what we try is to make a difference with the project of what is a lifestyle that is limited in motion, that is isolated with a lifestyle that can be much richer and more active. So what is what we try with this project is to give an option for the people to go out, and for the last is to give option, but also to give a voice, to make them part of the process, because then is when they feel that they belong to them, and then they will take care of them, and this especially works very well for the maintenance. And talking a lot with the people, we did this master plan is 35 hectares of regeneration in Bordeaux. What I will point out only is that what we do is that we have there is in these 35 hectares, every 200 meters there is a pocket garden. and there is 70 different pocket gardens. All of them, they have different characters. There are ones that are alone standing, ones that are close to the buildings, inside of the buildings, and depending on the program that they have, if they have close to the library or to the kindergarten or to the housing, they have a different type of programs or different types. Different design. And what is also remarkable we found about this project is that after a lot of discussion with the government and also with different stakeholders, we create this kind of a street in which the priority is for the car. The priority is for the people. So the cars, they can go only, there's parkings all around, so the residents, they park, they park around in the site, but if they have to go inside for drop-off or to bring the groceries or whatever is needed, then they have to go maximum 20 kilometers per hour. This needed a lot of discussion with the government, with the commerce there, but at the end, it was possible. So yes, going back about the little things. We need places, we need better traffic lights, we need more benches, greener, more diversity, more distinct spaces, sharing, more diverse, more connected, that is more attractive, yes, that is also more safe, that is more intimate, that is more demographic. So this is small things that makes a difference. But sometimes small is simply not big enough. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. POZO. Thank you very much for your sharing. Please be seated.